I can't believe it's a coincidence that DNI Gabbard came out with a revelation that Obama made up Russiagate just when Epstein was causing Trump a problem. I don't believe in that kind of innocent coincidence. The crux of the claim is that the intelligence community under Obama ignored previous intelligence and manufactured proof that Russia wanted Trump to win. And by doing so, they kneecapped his first administration. Now, forget about the fact that I don't know how you can blame any of that for what happened during Trump's administration. But Gabbard points to a timeline showing that it took them a while to say Russia wanted Trump to win the election. See, I see this more as a sign that they were nervous about tipping the scales weeks before the election and that they actually held off, because to everyone else, Russia's intentions were blatantly obvious in 2016. In June, it was widely reported Russian government hackers penetrated the DNC, and that was true, right? Remember, we know, because WikiLeaks started releasing the hacked emails that Russia stole. Yes, in September, an IC assessment made no mention of Russia wanting Trump to win the election, but by that time, they didn't have to. We all knew that. We didn't need an intelligence assessment about it. We had the DNC emails. Why do you think they hacked them? And on October 7th, 2016, the intentions became very clear for Russia. The day started off bad for Trump, remember? After months of being wishy-washy, the U.S. finally blamed Russia for the DNC hacks. Then 30 minutes after that, we had the Access Hollywood tape. But then WikiLeaks came to the rescue and started releasing the Podesta emails, which, helped soften the blow. Now, what's new is that Gabbard notes in December, a draft presidential daily brief that said Russia did not impact the election results. But here's the key language. Russia didn't impact the election results by hacking infrastructure, meaning changing the tabulations, which we all knew. I never heard anything serious about that in any other regard. So the draft gets killed, and Obama's top intel officials hold a meeting. After the meeting, reports leak that the CIA believes Russia was trying to help Trump win. But we already knew he was trying to help Trump win. Then in January, there's a full intelligence community assessment that says essentially Putin wanted Trump to win. Gabbard says that this is fruit of the poisonous tree, that they were setting the stage for the Russia probes and making this up. But anyone could have told you that Russia wanted Trump to win 6 months before. Now, this is kind of confusing. If you watch this again on Instagram or something, it really isn't. But here's the point, I think it's supposed to be confusing. I think that they're playing with the timeline, they're playing with language, they're playing semantics because they're trying to distract from Epstein and give MAGA another scandal of lack of transparency to grab onto that's bad for the Democrats, And look, Russiagate is a great trigger for the right. And there are absolutely lessons that I hope we learned, and I wish I could go back and cover it all again, but I can't. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a look at it with two better minds who know the timeline, know the allegations, and have opinions about what matters and what doesn't. The publisher of Racket News on Substack, Matt Taibbi, and Michael Isikoff, who literally wrote the book on the 2016 race, Russian Roulette, the inside story of Putin's war on America and the election of Donald Trump. Now, gentlemen, thank you both. Mike, it's been a minute. It's good to see you. Matt, it's good to have you back. So, Matt, you believe that this is a scandal, and we must pay attention because there is a new understanding of what was done by the administration, and that is?
Well, the new information is the abrupt change on December 8th and 9th to order the intelligence community assessment. But you have to understand, Chris, that the core to this whole story, you can't just say everybody knew that Russia was doing it to help Donald Trump. You have to have some kind of evidence. And the evidence they relied on for the intelligence community assessment was the Steele dossier, which, as your other guest, with respect, should know, was not a reliable source. It was paid opposition research that led to an enormous error in naming Carter Page an agent of a foreign power, and has proved to be a complete fraud. So you have to have some evidence to make these claims, and they did not have it. So it is absolutely significant that Barack Obama, stopping on a dime, orders a new intelligence assessment that says the opposite of what the evidence says.
All right. So, Mike, how do you see it?
Not like Matt is putting it, needless to say. Certainly, look, he's right about the Steele dossier. It was a document that got a lot of traction. We have learned some new information in recent weeks as a result of a disclosure from John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, that the FBI was pushing the Steele dossier. Director Comey wanted it in that intelligence assessment. But the CIA pushed back. They didn't believe it. They didn't trust it. They didn't know what the sourcing is. And in the end of the day, they reached this sort of compromise where it's put in a classified annex. But all of that is irrelevant to the fundamentals. The fundamentals are that Russia launched this unprecedented campaign to influence the American public. It used cyber means to steal Democratic National Committee emails and Clinton campaign emails. It provided them through Russian military intelligence to WikiLeaks, which dumped them on the American public and disrupted the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia that summer. And later, right after the Access Hollywood, they dumped the Podesta emails. Right. So, and then on top of that, we only learned later, this was the intelligence community was blind to this. There was this whole other social media component, the Internet Research Agency, the troll farm in St. Petersburg, right, that was secretly buying up Facebook ads and Twitter bots, all for the purpose of denigrating Hillary Clinton and promoting Donald Trump. So when Matt says there's no intelligence to back up the Russian interference and that this tilted towards Trump as opposed to Clinton, he's wrong. It's there. It's in abundance. Just right. How
so solid, let's get the okay. So let's get the other side, because Matt, look, you know everything that Michael just said. You don't value it the same way. Why?
Well, first of all, that's a pretty striking admission by Michael that I'm right about the Steele dossier, given that he...
Matt, I've been saying this for years, and you know it, and I even said it on your podcast. So this is no big admission. This is something that was clear for the last several years, and I've been unequivocal about it. But go ahead.
I know, and you've in very good faith answered questions about that story, but that story was wrong, and so is this. This is not correct.
The Steele dossier was wrong, but no. Are you saying that Russian interference in the election, that the hacking of the emails was wrong, that the giving it to WikiLeaks was wrong, that the social media campaign was wrong? All of that is in abundance. And could I also point out, Chris, and this is important, it's not just the Obama intelligence community that said this. The House Intelligence Committee under Devin Nunes concluded that the Russians had interfered and hacked the emails. The Senate Intelligence Committee under Marco Rubio reached the exact same conclusion.
But here's the thing. This is why I want to go back to Matt, Mike. Listen, but there is a dispute. Matt knows all these things too, right? Because this isn't secret information.
He doesn't accept the fact that.
Well, no. All right. So hold on. That's what I want him to answer. Hold on. Don't answer for him, Michael, just because you know him. Here he is, Matt. How do you see it, and how do you value these things?
So I did a story last year. I broke a story in February of last year after working on it for 6 weeks about the preparation of this intelligence community assessment. Part of that story involved the downgrading of sources, the suppressing of dissent by John Brennan. He overrode, as we now know, thanks to John Ratcliffe, he overrode 2 of his Russia experts. And the deputy director of, I believe it's analysis in the CIA that did not want to include the Steele intelligence. There was analysis that said that Russia saw Hillary Clinton as manageable and reflecting continuity. They didn't view her presidency as a negative at all. There was also intelligence that said that Russians had apprehensions about Donald Trump. They thought he was unstable, mercurial, and unreliable. All of these things are quotes from analysts that were suppressed in the intelligence community assessment. This notion that there was universal agreement among the intelligence agencies about Russia's intentions in 2016 is complete nonsense. The NSA never upgraded its assessment about this from moderate to high. They refused to do so. And the FBI very publicly changed its mind about this issue very late in the game. And so there absolutely was dissent, even within the intelligence community, even within the Obama administration, about this issue. But they presented it as a done deal, a united front, and did not tell the country that there were differing opinions about this. It's the same
Michael, last word.
Yeah. All right. Last word. Look, the dissent, to the extent that it was about one particular issue, and that is, did Putin himself order this interference campaign to help Trump? And there was some dissent about how strong the intelligence was about Putin's direct role. But none of that undermines the fundamental conclusions. And in fact, those conclusions were ratified by John Radcliffe in that CIA note, in which they talk about how overall the intelligence standards were robust and consistent, and they would not, and none of this should be interpreted as indicative of broader systematic problems with the ICA. That was the intelligence report that concluded conclusively, with no dissent, that the Russians launched an unprecedented campaign to interfere in our election and disrupt the electoral process. And everything Tulsi Gabbard, nothing Tulsi Gabbard has said undermines that. And particularly when she says manufacturing intelligence, there's none of that. There's not this.
What is the Steele dossier other than manufactured intelligence? That's the very definition of manufactured intelligence.
What was manufactured?
The entire Steele dossier. It's complete BS.
The Steele dossier wasn't by the intelligence community. So you're like
intelligence community assessment. It was presented to Trump, then leaked to the public that there was blackmail material about Donald Trump. That's all bull. It's a lie. And it dominated American politics for years. And you were part of it, Michael. You should be ashamed to be still talking about this.
Or I blew the whistle on some of it. But in any case, none of that changes the unalterable facts. The Steele dossier was not front and center in the intelligence community assessment. It had no part in the Mueller investigation. And the fundamentals hold up and are unimpeachable. What Gabbard is doing is misdirection, sleight of hand, trying to distract the public from the reality of what took place in 2016.
Look, I hope this. Go ahead, Matt. I stepped on you. Make that last point, please.
I'm saying it's an embarrassment to every journalist who, I wasn't a Donald Trump supporter. I voted for Hillary Clinton. But this is embarrassing. There was no P-tape. There was none of that. There was no 5-year well-developed
no dispute. I'm not arguing with you.
That dominated. It was on MSNBC every night for
well,
what,
your complaint is with MSNBC. It's not with the intelligence community.
Well, but no, but I think it's both.
They didn't hire.
I think it's both.
Every one of those.
No, Michael, Michael, I gotta go. But let me just tell you, as someone who's been listening to you two guys, right, and relies on both of you. Well, two things can be true at the same time. Okay, the dossier, we were all hoodwinked on it. All right, it was put out as something that they knew that it wasn't. Okay, now is that why Gabbard is putting out what she's putting out right now? No, because she's saying that they made up that Russia tried to affect our campaign infrastructure. She has to put meat on the bones of that, because that is not what they put out. And it was never my understanding. It was always messaging. It was always the emails, the DNC hack. It was never about them getting into election infrastructure. But the dossier is a black eye. And to the extent that that was something that they pushed on us that they knew they shouldn't have, she's right to call it out. But she has to put more meat on the bones of this theory that not they knew the dossier was BS, and they made up the assessment about Russia's impact on the election and what they were trying to do. She needs to substantiate that part more. Matt, thank you very much. You're always welcome here. Michael Isikoff, you're always welcome here. Thank you. This was good to listen to. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.